Well, we are Greg and Jackie Francis from Woodstock, Illinois, and we are so excited to be here with you guys tonight. That video is a little outdated, as you can tell. We have 3 children in that video. Our oldest 2 just turned 3 last month, so we have twin baby girls, Abby and Bella, who are 3 years old. We have a 20-month-old named Chrissy, who is rambunctious and energetic and full of life herself. And we have a 13-week-old little boy named Druce. So we have the alphabet going on here. A, B, C, and D was just born. We're not going to make it to Z. But Greg's ready to start with E. So we'll see what happens between now and Summit when we can give you another update, right?
Hey, we're on a roll, you know?
Yes, we do have 4 children, 3 and under. It is possible, and it's crazy at our house, so.
And look how great she looks. Isn't that awesome?
Thank you. The treadmill and I are best friends nowadays. I was joking with people, has anybody seen the movie Devil Wears Prada? That's like a dream-building movie, you know, all the clothes, the shoes, the bags, and everything, but the girl on there, you know, she asks her, how have you been losing weight? And she goes, I'm on this great diet. I eat nothing all day. Then when I'm about to pass out, I eat a cube of cheese. And I was telling everybody that's my new diet, but no, it's not. No, it's super fun at our house. We have a ton of laughter happening every single day. We enjoy life to the fullest at our house. We are so blessed. Greg and I are sponsored by one of his high school buddies, Jeremy, and his wife, Tamika. And they introduced us to this business opportunity 10 years ago now. And our life has dramatically changed because of it. We've been mentored along the way by in Emerald qualification, Aaron and Lisa Schmidt. We are so excited for the Schmidt team and proud to be on the Schmidt team. And just so excited for Aaron and Lisa. And then, of course, along the way by Double Diamonds, Larry and Pam Winners. So just like you guys, we come from an awesome line of sponsorship. We feel totally blessed and thankful that this was even given. This gift was given to us 10 years ago. So what a weekend it's been. I'm not going to take long. Greg has a message, but I was just thinking over this upcoming week, you know, what it was like when we first came to our first function. And I was thinking back when I first came to my very first function, and ladies, I don't know about you, but I was really skeptical. And I wasn't sure that this was real. I wasn't sure that the people were real. I wasn't a negative person about the business. I was just skeptical about it. But I sat in my seat and I was like, well, first of all, what don't I know? Because there's a bunch of people here. So I've been missing, you know, the memos somewhere. But I wasn't sure if I wanted to even build the business when I sat here. Greg kind of brought me. He was a green light all the way through, excited to build the business. And when I first came here, I just didn't even know if that's what I wanted to do. I had just started my first job out of college, and I was kind of excited about my career at the time, I guess you could say. So I remember thinking, I hope this is real by the end of the weekend, though. At first, I didn't know if I wanted it to be real, and then by the end of the weekend, I was hoping it was real, because it was truly something completely different that I had never even thought was possible in my life to associate with the people that you get to associate with in this business. I'm happy to tell you that so many of your dreams and goals can be accomplished. The leaders, the corporation, you know, there's nothing but positive energy when you come to these events, when you hang out with the people that are in this business, when you associate with people that are going somewhere that have real dreams and goals, and they're not stuck in a rut, and they're not always worried about the bills being paid, and they're not always worried about if they have real friends, and they're not always worried about if they can go on a trip with their family. You know, it's really neat to see the positive energy that happens in your life when you associate with people that are in a business like this. Greg and I have friends today that are, we didn't even know that we wanted. First of all, we didn't even know it was possible for us to have friends like that because we weren't friends like this. You know, we didn't know if we wanted mentors in our life, but gosh, when you're given the gift to have a mentor that kind of shows you the way and teaches you what you can achieve in this world, you're just like, maybe I do want that. Maybe I do want more out of this life. Financially, we're so thankful. We get to enjoy knowing that all of our bills are paid for. You know, there's not one bill that we worry about anymore. And I can't tell you that was the case back in the day. At one point, Greg was an engineer, I was a corporate buyer, and we truly were living paycheck to paycheck, which sounds really silly if you ask me, because what were we doing with our money? I swear people were stealing from us. I don't know. But, we would just every month still have more bills than money for it. And it was frustrating after a while. But thanks to this awesome opportunity, we get to travel first class around the world. We get to spend time together and with our children. We get to watch them grow up in a house where literally we sing all the time. We have fun all the time. We enjoy life all the time. I was giving the girls baths the other day, and, the 3 girls like to take baths together. And I'm cleaning their arms, and I'm like, praise the Lord. And they all go, praise the Lord. And they go, clean the armpits. And so that's how we clean the armpits. We praise the Lord. But the Lord likes clean armpits too, I tell them. So, we get to enjoy watching our kids actually start a journey already with our Lord and Savior. And it's just a neat opportunity at our time. Our lives are dramatically different from simply applying the nuggets that we've learned at weekends like this. By simply applying what the books have taught us, by simply applying what the CDs have taught us, by simply applying what our mentors have taught us. And I'm excited for you to be able to do the same thing. Really, this LTD team took 2 people, Greg and I, who were confused, not confident in ourselves. We had too many bad habits and addictions to even talk about today. And they turned us into people that are just morally on track, who are stand-up people, who are excited about helping more people, who can actually put their head down at night and know that we're doing the right thing for the right reasons. And at one point, we couldn't have said that. And we're excited about that, and I'm excited about that for you. And I'm excited for each and every one of you to come out of this weekend and apply everything that you're learning, because I'll tell you what, it's going to take you doing some work to make your business grow. It doesn't just happen. When we first started our business, Greg and I were encouraged to read books from the book list, not just some random books that we found here and there in our life anymore. We didn't want to start new books again. We just came out of college and we were perfectly happy with not reading anything but some magazines and, barely paying attention to the news at the point in our life. And, thanks to this awesome opportunity, we've actually filled our brain with successful knowledge that we can apply. And we're excited for you guys to do that now. We learned from our mentors how important it is to associate with people in life where you want to be, not with the people that aren't where you want to be. I don't know about you guys. I didn't have like a horrible job or anything like that. I mean, it wasn't where I wanted to spend all my time, but it wasn't horrible. It was just that people talked about a lot of useless things all the time. And we were excited about getting out of that environment. We were excited about getting away from people that were gossiping. We were excited about getting away from people that were really not going anywhere in life. And every month, they were still complaining about where they're not versus where they're going. So we got excited about getting around people. We worked on our goals by making lists. You'll hear people tell you, go home and make a list of the people that may want to get in this business with you or may want to buy products to support you. Make that list. We got excited about doing that, even though it made us uncomfortable sometimes. We got excited about going out there and meeting people and introducing this business to them. It wasn't always comfortable, but it was exciting to know we were actually moving our business forward. And we were going to actually accomplish our goals, not just dream about accomplishing our goals. We helped people get started right and create volume. It was always neat and interesting to watch people get in the business, and if you don't take the time to actually show them how to create some volume, they're not going to be around very long because they're not making any money. And I don't know about you guys, but we got in this business to make money. We wanted to have, a successful life, and we knew that it took money to do some of the things that we wanted to do in life. We worked on our goals by making sure we kept our real whys in front of us. And sometimes you'll hear that, like, what are your real whys? If you can't tell me off the top of your head some real emotional things that burn you to go out there and build the business, you probably really aren't that motivated. Because the truth is, you have to have something that actually burns you inside to make you want to get the job done. Decisions we made in our life were decisions that actually moved us forward. Everything was evaluated through building this business. And we evaluated whether we were moving forward or not by how fast our business was growing. So, I just wanted to really bring up Greg next because he has a couple things to talk about. But just, quickly go over with you guys that I'll tell you the dream is real. And it is so much fun. I could go over lifestyle things, but I'll just tell you something quick. It's just kind of funny. On a side note, obviously our house is interesting all the time. On top of having the 4 children, we also have 3 big lab dogs, and we're that funny couple that let them all sleep in bed with us. So a couple of them are on the pillows up by us, a few down by the feet. We're that funny family. But the other day, one of the kids was waking up. I think this was a couple months ago or whatever it was. And one of the kids were waking up. The twins sleep together in the same room. So normally if somebody wakes up in the middle of the night, it's pretty rare and they probably just got spooked by something or another. So one of the kids were kind of waking up and I was like, hey, Greg, you got this one? And he was like, kind of coming out of a sleep, kind of confused. I'm like, you got that one? Like, somebody's crying. Can you go get so-and-so? And he sits up straight as can be, and he goes, what the H is going on around here? And he's like cussing at me.
Why would you tell that?
And I am now like wide awake, laughing. Like I can't even I go, who have you been hanging out with that you're cussing, first of all? I came to find out that he was hanging out with one of our downline named Andy Helzer. And it made a little more sense later on, but I'm just like, what are you smoking nowadays? What are you doing? And he went in there and helped the kid, and I go, who was he? He goes, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. Go to sleep. And I asked him in the morning, I go, which kid got up last night? So I just know if there was something going on. He goes, does it really matter? It was one of the 4. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, enough questions. Clearly, I'm not getting an answer. I go, well, did you actually go see the one that actually cried, or did you just walk into somebody else's room and help that kid? He goes, does it matter? They weren't crying anymore. So anyways, our life is interesting. Everything is so fun at our house, but it's really because we applied the things in this business every single day to make it happen. And I'm so thankful that we did, because we get to tell you guys these corny stories and introduce our awesome life to you. But I'm going to let Greg go ahead and talk. We're excited about getting EDC done and moving on, just like you guys are too. I'm proud of you, honey. I know that you're out there getting a lot done. Why are you looking lippy? I'm going to keep this. Can I get my own microphone? Greg needs a microphone. I better keep it just in case he starts talking smack up here. But anyways, I love you. Have a good time talking to everyone. Give them all the knowledge. And we'll talk to you guys soon. We're excited about tomorrow morning. And tonight, Larry and Pam are coming up, the best of the best. We're excited to hear from them. So we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, so I had no idea where that story was going. I still don't know what the point of it was, other than to destroy my credibility. So I appreciate that. She thinks she's such a saint, though. It wasn't but a week or two ago when sweet little innocent Angel, I hear babies crying from every room in the middle of the night, and she wakes up and she's like, what's going on? One of the dogs had moved down to the floor and she stubs it. Son of a... Yeah, so now I know where I get it from. By the way, I got to clear something else up. I don't know what it is about all the new diamonds feel like they have to challenge Greg Francis and athletics at Peter Island. One of the last times I remember very vividly was a guy named Toby Ayers, and he gave a 10-minute session up here staring down on me about how he was going to avenge his father. Does anybody remember that? Well, I was pretty much looking forward to this, you can imagine, and this contest at Peter Island, and I'm kind of waiting for him to offer. 2 days goes by, 3 days goes by, finally I'm like, all right, hey, we're going to go play some sports, and I didn't even say what sport, didn't even say when we're going, what's happening. I just hear from around the corner, up there in the crow's nest, I hear Toby Ayers saying, I brought the wrong shoes, Like, you don't even know we're playing yet. He's like, I got to go. So much for avenging Gary Ayers. So now, Mr. Brian McGrath, we need to talk for a second. What's really funny, though, is I'm sitting down there, and Brian's up there, and he starts doing his thing and calling me out and challenging me and doing his whole deal, right? And this is the best part. Okay, I'm sitting here thinking, why do guys do this, you know? And Jackie leans over to me. Sweet, innocent Jackie. She says, Brian? She says, honey, I'll take this one. Oh, yeah. Now that's going to be good video. That's going to be good video right there. Hey, I got to tell you, though, I mean, I'm sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, does he even have any athletic ability? Because the only athletic career that I've ever heard of from Brian McGrath, I heard one athletic story of him, and that was on a family gathering at Easter one year. They played a family kickball game. And he separated his shoulder. Kickball. Shoulder? He was walking around in a sling at a function. I'm just like, oh gosh, really? Anyways, all right, I'm almost out of time. I did have a talk. I had to defend myself for 10 minutes first. Let me shift gears real quick. I read an article recently. It was regarding our overly sensitive society. How's that for a transition? It was talking about how today some schools have rules that everyone must be allowed to play on a team regardless of talent, attitude, or desire. What would have happened to Michael Jordan? How much better did he get after he was cut? After he learned defeat? After he had to strive to do better at something? Many places, many schools don't even allow gifted or advanced classes anymore because they don't want to make the goofball kids, right? All of us kids who used to sit there and play jokes and put whoopee cushions on teachers' chairs and everything else, don't want to make us feel like we're unintelligent. Here's one that happened recently. I don't know what I was doing. I was filling out something, and it was one of those kind of like bubble things where I might have been for a driver's license renewal or something like that, and it was asking, what ethnic background are you? Okay? Because most of us don't even know what to call each other anymore without potentially offending someone. Correct? You know, there was Hispanic on there, African American, Asian, Native American, Euro American, and other. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get this one wrong. So what did I do? I filled out other. And I wrote on there, from about October to about April, I'm white, and the rest of the months I'm tan. Deal with it. In Australia, this is a true story. Santa Clauses were forced to revolt for the right to say ho, 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 because it was said that it might frighten children and be derogatory to women. Here's the terms we're supposed to start using. Instead of saying someone has body odor, to not offend, we're supposed to say non-discretionary fragrance. Instead of saying dishonest, we're supposed to say ethically disoriented. Instead of saying wrong, you're wrong, we don't offend you. We have to say you're differently logical. Instead of saying poor, instead of calling someone poor, we have to say you're financially inept. Instead of saying homeless, I like this one, we have to say you're residentially flexible. And instead of saying someone's dead, you have to say they're living impaired. How out of control is this? Here's my question. I don't have a lot of time. In today's society, this stuff's getting beat into us all the time. Don't offend anybody. Don't potentially do something that might have yourself offended. You know, gray area is king if you want to fit in. Correct? Now, I want to ask you something, though. In all the main areas of life you want to succeed in, relationships, finances, marriage, self-image, etc., success. How well does that philosophy work? How well is it working for society? How well is it working for everybody out there? How many more people are broke today than they were 10, 20 years ago? How many more people are divorced today than they were 20, 30 years ago? And statistically, how well is it working? And you see, I want to challenge this philosophy a little bit because here's a question that I usually get a lot, okay? Because, if you were around at all when we were going diamond, we had a 5-year window before we started diamond qualification, and we just decided to turn this thing on and go crazy. We decided to just do this thing 6 nights, 7 nights a week. I mean, we got rid of our TV out of our house, and we just built the business, man. We read books. I mean, we didn't read 15 minutes a night. We read every minute we had spare. We didn't show 2, 3, 4 plans a week. We showed a plan as many people as we could every single night for years. We never apologized for it. We got in that mode. And I get a question a lot of times, Greg, man, how did you stay that motivated? How did you learn how to have such a strong why? Well, I got to tell you, when I was at that phase, probably like many of you, when I was new and I was questioning things, and I was questioning myself, I was questioning the business, I was questioning how real all this is, how much success I could have. I was combating people in my life that were giving me negative and giving me a hard time and discouraging me. When all this was going on, I was an emotional wreck. I mean, my life showed that. It was a train wreck watching how I lived. I would be super jacked one day, I would be really down the next, and I would get frustrated about how emotionally unstable I was because it would affect my work habit. And I would start being one of those guys who would say, man, how do these guys stay so motivated? And then I learned something really, really valuable along the way, man. And something that you guys could probably learn too. While you're trying to figure out your why, which takes some time, I think it's hard to figure out a really strong, heartfelt, I'm going to go charge the hill every single day regardless of what's going on in my life or what circumstances hit me. I think it's hard to find a why that strong until you have been in the process of doing something long enough to get your self-image up enough to have a real why. So in that meantime, while you're in that window right now, here's what my recommendation is. Stop asking the question, how do I get motivated? And start asking, what do I do until I am motivated? What kind of activity should I take without being motivated? And I'll tell you why. Because your emotions will destroy you if you let them make decisions for you. I have a recommendation. I think everyone in here should fall out of love. You should fall out of love with your feelings. You should divorce your feelings and stop letting them make decisions for you. Why? I got 4 reasons why feelings should not be utilized for decision making. Number 1, they're schizophrenic. Right? They're schizophrenic. They change all the time, sometimes in seconds. I'll give you a great example. A couple weeks ago, Jackie and I are driving down the road. Had the whole family in the car, man, all 4 kids, man. We're in a QX56, having a good time. We're happy. We're laughing about something. I don't know what. I don't remember where we're going. We were having a good time. And all of a sudden, I hear this wham! And it was Bella slapping Chrissy right across the head, man, like welt mark, just like, what was that all about? I turn around, I'm angry. I'm like, what are you doing? Went from happy to angry instantly. I swerved the car like this. I cut the guy off. That goes. I look back up, angry, trying to get this settled in. The guy next to me flips me off, and then he not only does that, he pulls up ahead of me, and then he tries to just cut in front of me real quick, slow down. You ever had people do this? And then he takes off again. So now, you know what my emotion turned into? Revenge. So what'd I do? The thing any, responsible father would do in that moment. I sped up and got on his rear end. So I'm doing this, and I'm challenging this guy. I'm about ready to run him off the road, just about. I'm doing 80 miles an hour, 2 feet from his bumper, okay? And then I start realizing, what if this guy's a downline? And my emotion of anger to revenge went to embarrassment, just like that. So I back off. And then all of a sudden from the swerving, I hear baby Drew just hurl, and I'm like, come on, is this for real? So now I'm angry again. Then Jackie, her gentle touch, she touches my arm, she said, honey, just relax. I got this, everything's cool. And I'm like, oh man, I got a good wife, I'm kind of feeling at peace again. It's kind of cool. She's going to go handle this, and it's pretty cool. And then all of a sudden, I start checking my messages, and I hear a downline ask the same question again for about the 500th time. And I'm frustrated out of my mind. But then the next message I got was a YouTube from another downline, something like people falling awkwardly or something like that, and I was happy again. This is about 30 seconds. This is about 30 seconds. I went through all those emotions. Can anybody relate? Your feelings are schizophrenic. Don't trust them to make decisions. In the business, you get in, you're real excited. You're out here tonight, man, you're having fun. Tonight you're going to hear from Larry and Pam Winters, some of the greatest leaders ever been in Amway. You're going to hear from a man's man. I mean, you read his book, and you hear his story, and it's a story of victory and overcoming. Him and Pam are just an awesome, amazing couple that have changed all of our lives. And you're going to walk out of here, and you're going to be like, this is the best thing ever. And if you're like me, you're going to be like, I'm going to go do this thing. I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm going to be bold and be excited. And the thing is, a couple days from now, you might go out there, and you might be like, man, I don't even know if I want to do this thing anymore. And you're going to feel like a schizophrenic. Now, it's okay to feel that way. But if you make a lifelong decision, like quitting the business, could potentially be a very life-altering decision based on an emotion that's crazy. Your emotions are schizophrenic. Number 2 reason. Why should you fall out of love with your feelings? Your feelings are unfaithful. They're unfaithful. They don't stay with you, good or bad, man. They are going to leave you as quickly as they showed up. I want you all to write down a statement. Don't do what feels good, do what produces good. Don't do what feels good, do what produces good. Don't avoid what feels bad. Avoid doing things that produce bad. Number 3, reason you should divorce your feelings. Feelings do not care about consequences. I mean, think about it. When I was having my schizo moment in the car, that guy that was road raging and the guy flipped me off, the whole thing, right? Could have been a downline. What if I'd run him off the road? I mean, what if I'd have just gone a little bit too far? He'd have slowed up a little bit. Somebody got caught, something would have come out in front of him and I'd have clipped him and he would have tumbled his car at 80 miles an hour. How life-changing could that have been for him, for his family, for me? I could end up in prison for that. I could have my kids grow up without a dad around. Your feelings, they don't care about the consequences. So don't let them make your decisions. In the business, sometimes up here, you're going to hear a lot of passionate people. Sometimes you're going to hear a person on an audio that might offend you. I might have done it a couple times already. Here's the thing, it's okay to feel that emotion. It's okay. If you make a decision, you decide not to plug in the system, in my opinion, that's pretty stupid. Because it affects you, because your emotions, your feelings, don't care about your long-term consequences. Okay? How about a lack of self-image? How if you let that stop you? How about if you're uncomfortable to develop a skill set, working with people? People say, I'm not a people person. Really? Or are you just afraid of people? Or have you just not felt like working on that yet? People say, people are worried about handling rejection. Okay? What you're afraid of is the emotion of rejection. Don't let that make your decisions for you. I don't like to read. Really? Maybe you just don't feel like it. I'm not motivated. That's a feeling. I can't afford it. That's not true. You just don't feel like using your brain enough to budget effectively yet. Don't let your feelings make your decision, or you'll be a schizophrenic decision maker, and it'll affect your whole life. When we were going diamond, we were constantly reminding ourselves, stop doing what feels good, stop avoiding what feels bad. That's so huge, you guys. I lived by that probably almost until Emerald. I got myself a work habit planned out of what I was going to do every single day, regardless of how I felt about it. I'd get off work and there'd be extra circumstances. I'd have guys quit on me, whatever. I'd go to a function like this, I'd be wired. 3 days later, I wouldn't be excited. I still did the work. I didn't feel like it. People ask all the time, how were you so motivated? I don't know. I really wasn't at the time. I don't remember when I started getting motivated. I know somewhere along the way I really did. Somewhere along the way I started talking about why. I started getting passion. Somewhere along the way I won myself over long enough by doing what I didn't feel like doing that eventually I felt like I could have what most people will never have. And you can too. Number 4, reasons you should divorce your feelings. Feelings almost always lead us to more and more bad decisions, which create horrible habits. Listen to this, to the point where luck is something you think is actually a real thing. I want to give you a little tip about luck. You create success by either making consistent good decisions and taking good consistent action, or by deciding not to, right? Luck is a myth. Luck is a poor person, or for those overly sensitive natures out there, a financially inept person's excuse for not being successful, So why should you fall out of love with your feelings? Number 1, they're schizophrenic. Number 2, they're unfaithful. Number 3, they don't care about consequences. And number 4, they lead you to bad decisions. I'm wrapping up. I want to ask you a question, you guys. Consider this. How many of you would stay in a relationship with someone who's schizophrenic? How many of you would stay in a relationship with someone who's unfaithful, who doesn't care about consequences or lead you to bad decisions? Here's my tip for you. Divorce your feelings. Do what produces good, not what feels good. It was great having Coach Calipari up here, and he was talking about everybody wants to know what they can get out of it. I'll just go through a couple quick things here. Some lifestyle type stuff that's been great. Jackie, as you know, we just had our 4th, but while she was, in the process of being pregnant, she had some downtime, and when she has downtime, she spends money. That's a fact. She rearranged our house. She remodeled it. We have new furniture showed up every single day for about 3 months straight. I think she dropped, when it was all said and done, about $85,000 on new furniture in our house when she was what she lovingly calls nesting for our 4th child. don't even know what that means and how that justifies it, but to her it does. You know, it's cool. For Christmas this past year, it's really hard buying anything for my wife. Why? Because usually the rule of thumb is anything pretty much under about $6,000 when she buys it, she doesn't have to even ask. She doesn't even bother to ask. How many of y'all would like to be able to do that? So all the kids, what they did was they gave her a little basketball and they wrote on there, hey, front row seats to a Bulls versus Magic game, Bulls versus Celtics game, Bulls versus Knicks game. And we get front row seats, man. We're sitting right down there. Some of you maybe have seen us on TV at these games, and you can reach forward and touch Kevin Garnett's jersey, touch Derrick Rose's jersey. I can hear them in the huddle. They're in there, man. You're like standing over top of it watching. It's awesome. You know you got great seats when you got to tell the coach, hey, down in the front, buddy. I can't wait for playoffs to start because we're going to go. How about this? How about being able to just call up my dad? I forgot his birthday this year. Oh, man. You know, my mom's big on this stuff. My dad, I don't know if he really cares that much, about remembering the date. But usually if I get a letter in the mail and it's only addressed to Greg, not Greg and Jackie, that usually means I'm in trouble by mom. Okay? Jackie loves it. She brings the mail in, and she's like, oh boy, what'd you do now? She's such a brat. But anyways, I open it up. I forgot his birthday. So I called my dad up. Remember, he's 6 hours away on a drive over in Michigan. And I said, hey, man, you want to get lunch? Sorry, I missed your birthday. I missed it by a week or two. And he's like, yeah, are you coming into town sometime soon? Thanksgiving or something? I'm like, how about tomorrow? I got in my car and went. You want to know why? I had no plans, no schedule, no job, and I just went and had a lunch with my dad. That's called freedom. It's cool when he's there, he's telling me about my brothers and how all their feelings control them and how they keep borrowing money from him every single month. Remember, my brothers are 5 years and 9 years older than me. I'm 37 years old. And he's talking about how it's depleting and he was stressing, man. He worked for GM. He saved up very little money. He made $35,000 a year with 4 kids at home. How much can you save? Right? It was cool. The next week I wrote him a check, man. I wrote him a check for $12,000. Why? Am I a big shot? No. But I figured an extra $1,000 a month would help him out. And I wrote him a letter saying, Dad, you know what? I want to let you know something. I learned from your responsibility. I learned from your work habit. And I applied it. And because of that, we've been blessed. And I want to bless you back. That's the kind of stuff you get if you'll divorce your feelings and do what produces good. We're doing other things right now. I'm putting up a pole barn. It's probably going to cost about $70,000. Why would I want a pole barn? Because I want another 40 by 60 space where I can start buying classic cars. 64 Chevelle, 69 Camaro, ragtop. You name it. Get Jackie 2 or 3 of them. We just can't wait to go do that. And right now, the only thing holding us back is space. So we're going to add it. We're going to Europe here pretty soon. So, hey, maybe I will be a Euro-American. Who knows, Going to do a Disney trip. The kids love Minnie Mouse. So you know what? Jackie said, hey, can we go to Disney? I said, sure, book it up. And she books it up. We got a couple of suites back to back in some kind of resort. It's the nicest one down there. And we bought plane tickets. How crazy is it going to be having first class for all of our kids? I don't know what that trip's going to cost. It's probably going to be 20 or 30 grand. Is that a big deal? No, it ain't a big deal when you know just to do what produces good versus what feels good. You know what it is? You don't worry about money. You just make more. Right? But you enjoy your family. I could go on, man. Oh, by the way, while we're doing all this kind of stuff, these GI bonuses that come in through Amway, $250,000 a year. How great is that? What a blessing. I took those 3 GI bonuses and paid off our house. So let me ask you something. Do you still feel like you should wait till you're motivated or do some work? I'll tell you who's not waiting. People like Andy and Maureen Helzer. Sapphire qualification right now, 150 plus people here. We're breaking 2 new rubies here. We're going to break probably 8 to 12 rubies in the next 6 months, which is pretty exciting. 2 of them are happening here in the next 2 months. One is Stephen and Megan Hill. They got things cranking. They'll be rubies before the next function. Oscar and Arlene Buendia, I think they're 21 years old. These guys got things moving on. Derek and Robin Kruger in Sapphire qualification. They also registered 5 new legs this month. They want to get diamond done. You got Zach and Michelle Fox, Sapphire qualification. 7 growing legs, 160 plus people here. You got Derek and Jill Kosek, 3 months in Emerald qualification, 170 people here. Nate and Kelly Olson, 210 people here. 4 months in Emerald qualification right now, done deal. Got Mark and Meredith Nathan, man. 280 people here. With where they're growing right now and the projections that's happened, there'll be 600-700 people this time next year. Their 4th leg just went 4,000 PV, and they are so wired about coming to Peter Island. It's so exciting. So guys, what should you do? Here's what I recommend. Here's my advice to you guys, okay? Instead of walking around using your feelings as an excuse, instead of walking around waiting until you have some emotional backing to get you off your butt,